different. I think I've smudged my camera. It's something that won't come off easily. Is it zoomed in? Seems awfully close. Oh well. I want to get my hair done soon. Ugh. Come on, stop being with low battery. There's enough battery in it before. Actimel. I'm gonna have some Actimel. It may as well, seeing as how I don't have a cup of tea made handy for me, so Actimel it is, as I'm very thirsty. I'd rather sit. I'm going to show you my outfit anyway. I'm not sure if anybody's watching, but I'll show you the outfit. I'll show it you with and without this. It's too bad I can't put the phone down somewhere it's not going to fall over. But I will try. Let's put it in the pooey area. Oh, there we go. Don't start. Losing connection. It's making noises. I don't like the sound of that. Okay, so this is my new jacket that I got for my birthday. It's got a hood. You can't see the fancy back bit with the hood in the way. There you go. So, I think it looks nicer closed than it does open. Because, I don't know, it doesn't look too bad. But I'm thinking it looks nicer because, you know, it makes me look like I've got a figure, a waist. I like clothes where they kind of fitted here, cinched in, and then stick out at the bottom from here and at the back, like a big bustle thing. That would be nice. The thing I didn't, because you know I prefer like Victorian clothes, but the thing I don't like was that era wear as much anyway. That era where they had like straight dresses, but they did have a bustle thing at the back. For me, it has to be big from the side and the front, not just from the side. So yeah, I like it when they stick out. But that wasn't that only like a short period of the Victorian era where they had the big sticky out dresses? It's only like very short period of time. It wasn't like the entire of the Victorian era, was it? That's kind of a shame, because I always refer to the Victorian era for the best fashion ever. But I remember one time I mentioned it and one guy said, "Oh, what do you mean the Victorian era was the nicest for fashion?" Because that was the era where they had the horrible straight dresses. Do you remember the ones where they were like had a waistline under the bust and then they were like really straight and they were really kind of not as flattering? So they were thinking of that era. But that wasn't the Victorian era, was it? I mean, it's probably part of it, I don't know. I think it came before the big sticky out dresses. Kind of went from big sticky out dresses to straight dresses to big sticky out dresses again. So, I know more about eras now than I used to. I never really knew much about eras. I just knew that Victorian was the best for clothes. So yeah. So I prefer Victorian style clothes. I've been seeing like Lolita clothes lately, and I've been wanting to buy some of them because they're like Victorian style clothes, aren't they? But they're more cutesy and kawaii, like a doll or something. I wanted to get into dressing Lolita, but they're so expensive. I've seen YouTubers with entire wardrobes of this Lolita clothing. I think, how did they afford it? Because it's actually quite expensive. Maybe one or two items they could afford, like if they saved up or they got it for a birthday or Christmas present, but a whole wardrobe. But after watching some of their videos, I realised they actually did get most of their stuff as a gift or discounts, because they're obviously a member of lots of Lolita sort of communities, so they probably, and they go to meets and stuff and they make friends, so their friends kind of buy them. I want to do that, you know. I don't think they have any of that sort of thing in the UK, I'm not sure. And if it is, it'll probably be too far away. Because considering we're a teeny tiny country, every place is quite far away. So, and you know my situation. Can't really go too far. Well, you know, you guys probably know that I want to go to furry conventions, but the nearest, well, the only place that does furry conventions in the UK seems to be Birmingham, and that's too far. So what you'd have to do is you'd have to make the journey there. You'd have to do an overnight stay, wouldn't you? Or I think conventions go for a few days, so most people go there and have an overnight stay so they can enjoy all of the conventions, especially if they're far from home. But you know, we can't do that because my mum doesn't like to have an overnight stay anywhere because of the dog. Everybody else is privileged enough to have people to look after their animals while they're on holiday or whatever, but we don't have that. So, and most people say, "Oh, put it in a kennel." My mum doesn't like kennels either. She had a bad experience with one kennel, and now she won't leave any more of her animals in one, even if it's a different one. She said she went to this kennel, right, when she went on holiday. She brought the dog that she had at the time. That was before me, obviously. She dropped this dog off at a kennel, and when she came back, the dog was in a really bad way because they didn't clean the kennels and they didn't look after them very well. So yeah. So, and I kept saying to her, I'm sure not all kennels are like that. I'm pretty sure they're not all like that. Here we go, this live stream isn't really getting much views. So, certain topics I bring up or certain things I do seem to bring more people. Which is weird, I don't know how that works. Hey Richard, I think you're the only one watching now. It says I've only got 1 view. 2! Oh, I've got 2. I don't know, it's confusing. People, they go, I'm not watching that, it's boring, and just go away, probably. I don't know. Some people say, oh, well, I'm at work, oh, I can't do it. I don't see why, it's freaking 7 o'clock or whatever. Most people should be home by now. Unless you're being overworked, which, by the way, I think most people are being overworked. Having to get up at like 6 in the morning and then they don't finish their work until like 12 midnight. That's ridiculous. I'd quit that job. Do you know what? If I decided to work... I thought I was the only one. Let me find you on Facebook. Repeat your name in it again, please. I don't think I gave you my name on Facebook. What was I going to say? You interrupted me. How rude. Oh yeah, no. Ugh, forgot now, thanks. If I was going to do something. Oh man, come on, remind me. It's not like I could rewind the damn thing. What was I going to say before I was so rudely interrupted? Oh yeah, if I was the type to get a job, you know, if I was able to, you know, like if I wasn't a carer and I had to go out to work and I didn't work from home, I would get a part-time job, because I think full-time jobs are just too, like, you have to practically work 7 days a week. Maybe you get 1 day off, but that's fine, that's all well and good, but when you're actually working, the hours are really long and the breaks are probably like 2 seconds. My mum said when she was working, on her break, she used to go to sleep in the toilets in a stall because she was so tired. But yeah, my mum said that when she was working, she used to work a job for really long hours, and she was on her feet all day in high heels. Thought, no wonder you're disabled now. It's all your fault. You overworked yourself. I mean, it was her fault because she overworked herself and wore high heels and then worked out with heavy weights when she got home Yeah, so she'd spend all day in high heels, and then she'd work out, and then she'd work another job until midnight. Like, you worked yourself into the ground, no wonder you have problems now. Because she's not traditional. She's not traditionally disabled. She's got like stenosis and her degenerative disc, so she can walk, but not for long periods of time, and she's like permanently in pain. So she has to use a wheelchair when out and about. She used to use crutches, but that made it worse. So I'm thinking the reason why she's got all these problems because what she did in the past. So she worked herself to death, and she worked herself to death, and she wore high heels, really high heels, like stabbers. She called them stabbers. It's like these pointy, thin things. That can't be very good for your back, and also probably wore away the discs by lifting heavy weights. I mean, there are people who do. There are women in particular who, because women aren't really built for that sort of thing. Here we go. I don't think it's the one I think it is. It's okay. I think I'm just scared away the wrong thing. Thought it was one of those annoying starlings again. They've been plaguing my area at the moment. So I was just worried. I don't want to encourage them around. I think that was a blackbird, actually. Anyway, so yeah. So there are women that do work with heavy weights, and they seem to be fine. They don't seem to get problems when they get older. Maybe they do a certain thing that stops them from hurting their back and their other joints. So if anybody has any suggestions, because I actually want to work out just to become stronger, because I have to lift a heavy wheelchair and I have to push my mum in the wheelchair, so I'm too weak to do that. Don't say it's genetic, because that means I might get it. But like I say, even if it's genetic though, what she did in her youth might not have helped. It might have sped it along, so maybe she wouldn't have got these problems until she was 90, but because she did all those things in the past, it sped it up so that because she's quite young now, and she's got these problems. Most people who have these problems are in their 80s and 90s, so I've seen people her age and they're fit as a fiddle. Genetic. We'll never know now, because it's all her fault for doing all that work. Heavy lifting and shit. Oh, I wish I could help. Yeah, what would help is having someone to assist me. That would be great. My idea was it would be great if we had people so that people could look after my mum and keep my mum company while I go to a furry meet or a furry convention or something. Because I really want to go to a furry... I'd have to say meet, because the furry convention I couldn't, stay overnight. I don't know why. I could, I suppose, if someone was looking after my mum every day. I have muscles as well, a flab. Yeah, that's always nice. Muscles and flab. I saw some flabby things today when I was out. So sexy. So sexy. What was I going to say? So yeah, I'd like to go to a furry convention, and so if my mum had someone to stay with her and I had someone to go with to a furry meet or a convention, that would be great. We don't, so that sucks. There's got to be some kind of charity for people like that, Gotta be, right? I was talking about that yesterday. There must be a charity for disabled people and carers, where they have volunteers or something to come down and help you with stuff. How would you travel for what? How would I? I think that's supposed to be how would I travel. I don't know. Probably train. Probably go by train. How far? How far would you travel for a con? Oh. Well, the nearest one's Birmingham, so that would be it. It'd be easy if there's one in Manchester, but there ain't, apparently. Manchester's a big place. You'd think they'd have a convention place, but no, only Birmingham apparently, and probably London. I think those places are too far away. If you look at it on the map, it doesn't look that way, because we're only a tiny place, aren't we? But it is very, very, very far away. Oh well, it'll have to be a pipe dream of mine, won't it? Like I say, I'm not like everybody else in the universe that's in my situation. They all have help. They all have like people to help them, family, friends, God knows what. Maybe the disabled person springs for a carer, which I'm presuming is free. I'm not really sure. Kind of hard when you don't have that. I don't even know how we've ended up in this situation. It's probably all my dad's fault. It's all his fault. All his fault. How does someone get into my situation? I don't know. How far? Okay, so we've got a static guru person who said, do you play video games? The answer to that is I just play games on my phone, like apps, and sometimes computer games that you can get on computer game site things, like on Facebook. I played Uno on there, and you know, a game called Unicorn Dash or something. I like those, and various others. And then there's things like the Endless Forest, which is more like a virtual world, and the Wolf one, Wolf Quest. I played those. And this old game called Wolf. It's just called Wolf, and you have to have DOSBox to play it. I like that one, but I can't get it anymore. I probably could if I tried. I don't always make efforts. Eventually I do. Yeah, it'd be nice to get into some sorts of communities. Like I want to join like a Lolita community and furry community and other communities. So it would be nice to meet like-minded people. It could be genetic though. Oh, don't say that, because that means I might get it as well. Which means I don't have much time. Are you otherkin? I was a furry first, but I did discover Therians. By the way, Therians and otherkin aren't the same thing. Somebody reviewed it. I think it was Hunter Avalone or somebody like that. And they mistook it, otherkin, as you know, they described otherkin like Therians are, but otherkin's different. Otherkin is where you think you're a mythical creature or something. I think it's easy to say that, but it's hard when they don't exist. You know, it's hard to believe those people. It's kind of believable when they think they're an animal that's on the earth, a real animal, you know, and they believe that they have the spirit of the animal. But I think with the mythical creature, the people who think they're mythical creatures, they just want to be, and they like the idea of being one, so they sort of have that as their persona. You know, it's not a bad thing. But if a Therian heard me say that, or otherkin, they'd go mad. They would, you know, because they take it really seriously. I don't really. Yeah, I do. I love his videos. But yeah, Therians take it way too seriously. There's no room for leeway. There's like set rules of the way you have to be, and the way you have to think, and the way you have to dress. Like if you say, oh yeah, Therians have a uniform of the type of clothes they wear, they go mad. They say, you know, it's not about the clothes and whatnot. but they actually do. They dress kind of gothic, don't they? If you've ever seen them. So I would describe myself as a Therian because I identify with a wolf. I'm going to say I identify as a wolf. So yeah. That's alright. A lot of people say I'm delusional. I think I'm a wolf. So what though? Not that I do, but so what if I did? Is it really that bad? You know, does it really affect anybody? Apart from the fact that if I really thought I was a wolf, I'd probably maul a bunch of people by now, but I haven't, have I? Sometimes you kind of wanna. When they disrespect you, don't you? You kind of wanna maul them. No, I wouldn't do that. Just like pretend to. As, you know, for fun. Like on that video, that pretend video I did. Or pretend to eat them. Vor, I think that was it, Vor video. Yeah, well, I do agree with a lot of Hunter Avalone's videos and what he says, but there is one thing that I don't like about him, and that is that he's always like, you know, if you've watched his videos, you know, he's always banging on and, you know, saying how ridiculous feminists are and the LGBT community and all people like that, all the social justice types. Social justice. It's a laugh really, because they don't have social justice for everybody. Just a set group of people. Usually blacks, gays, and that other one. Feminist people. Oh, and fat. Fat acceptance. But apparently they don't do that for everybody. Like someone like me is still kind of ridiculed while everybody else has to be accepted. Like even in those gangs of kids that hate me because I think I'm a wolf and they think that I'm weird. Even they have gay people in their groups, so that minority's kind of accepted. But I'm not. Do they realise how ridiculous they are? Oh well, we're great because we accept minorities, but not your kind of minority. You're not the right kind of minority. That's what it's like when talking to me, when they're, you know, when it comes to me. I'm still the freak of nature, but everybody else that used to be the freak of nature is now accepted. That's what I have a problem with. I don't have a problem with these people, but I have a problem with the fact that my kind of person is not accepted still. I want to be in the social justice warrior category, if that makes sense, because then people will fight for people like me to get accepted. So they'll say people should have the right to wear tails and ears if they want to, or full costumes in public. That's what they should do. So what I was going to say is, Hunter Avalone is down on furries and Therians. So that's the... I think someone was howling then. Oh. Just going to do a little one. Don't want to encourage them again, do I? Do you know what? So, some people went past one day and my mum was out in the garden and she howled at them because they were howling. They were going past and they were howling, these kids, and my mum started to howl and I was like so embarrassed I cringed. They're like, oh no mum, you're going to encourage them like you're always going on about me not doing. Flakes. Annoying. Thank you, I thought it was cool. I think that those kids that harass me, I think that they think that I'm cool as well. They used to say I was cool. I don't know why they suddenly turned against me and think I'm weird. They probably want to join me, they probably want to be in my pack. I don't know why. I think it would be so cool if there was people around here who wanted to join my pack and I could just like rally a bunch of people who did the same thing. Thinking it's cool. Even if they turned it into a trend, that'd be fine with me. At least I wouldn't be alone. So what did you say? As long as people don't harm others, they should live as they wish. Yes, they should. I actually want to be able to go around wearing my tail if I want to, out in public, and my ears, which I actually do. I have gone out in these ears today. Whenever I can, I do go out in my ears. Sometimes I don't though. It depends. But I have been out a few times with these ears, and some of my black ears. Mainly because other people started doing it, so I thought, oh, I can do it, and it's just like the trend.